Good evening, all. Hope I'm audible to you. Could you please confirm through chat box? And hope my screen is visible to you. If there are any problems, please confirm through chat box. Am I audible to you or not? And if my screen is visible or not? If it is not visible and if I'm not audible, please let me know. Yes, yes. Thank you. No need of further confirming. Need to make few settings. Which the first one is room number 13. Then disable annotations. Okay. Okay, no need of further confirming. Everything is thank you. And good evening, all again. Fine, fine. Okay, before starting today's discussion, we'll just have a small recap of the yesterday's topics. Then we'll move to the today's session. And at the end of the yesterday's session, I have discussed about how to create an API using Grok. Today we'll again revisit it. Fine. Just we'll have a small recap. In the meantime, people will join. Okay. What did we discuss in the last session? What did we discuss in the last session? I will do it. Okay, I'll repeat this, how to create a key using Grok. I'll repeat it. Yes, that is good. We have discussed about LLM. Then I think it is not just LLM. I think yesterday we have discussed around 2 hours. We have discussed about the Gen AI. Okay, I have not referred this word NLP and I have not referred this word prompt engineering. How to create an API keys for the Gemini and Grok. What is a large language model and what is Gen AI? How to use the model, or I could say how to interact with an LLM. Your mic is mute. In fact, my mic is not mute. I think I'm audible to many of the participants. Okay, good evening. We have created a key. Yes. How to assign? Yes, this is really a useful topic. That is how to assign an API key to the environment variable. That is quite useful. And we have discussed about what are the inputs and outputs to the resume analyzer tool. Yes, that is good. That is how to create an API key for the free tier LLMs. One is the Gemini and next one is the Grok. Yes. How to interact with the model. I think we have not discussed about writing a prompt. Today I'll show you how to write a prompt. There are some rules. In fact, there is no much discussion required, but you must know what are the rules you need to keep in mind while writing a prompt. I'm unable to log in on Grok. I have tried multiple times. Just signing up in Grok is quite easy process. Just open the Grok, click on the email, that's it. Click on the Google email, Gmail, that's it. If it is Mistral, then it is a bit tough. Interfacing with deployment platform, that we will discuss in the next session. I think we have not discussed about interfacing with the deployment platform. I think that is, the deployment is planned for the third day. Model is the relation. Perfect. Yes, you can go for you can go with this. You can go with the Postman too. There are no hard and fast rules to go with the same process what I am using, because this workshop is dedicated. This workshop is planned for the beginners. I'm using very easy ways to create an API and how to use API. I'm using very easy ways to do it. Yes, interacting with LLM, that is fine. But it is stuck there. Okay, maybe. Okay. You just reload, maybe try again. That will help you. I will do this. I will do this grok and no need to ask again and again. We'll start with the grok, in fact. Right after the recapitulation, we'll start with the grok. Then we'll start our discussion on the LangChain. Yes, we have discussed about why GenAI is popular or why GenAI is gaining popularity now. It is not deleted. We have, I think we have hosted this. We have hosted this in the private mode. That's the reason why I cannot find these videos. Maybe at the end of this 3 days workshop, you may get I think you may get these recordings and the lecture notes too. Okay, perfect. Okay. Number of participants are near to 750. Then I think it is good to start. Before starting, okay. Anyway, we'll go for it. Yes, we'll have a small recap. In the last session, okay, I'll just list out the topics here. In the last session, we have discussed about what is GenAI, what is a large language model. Then we have discussed about just creating an API for the free trial for the LLMs which are provided in the free tier from the free tier providers. Then we have discussed about assigning API key to the environment variable. After that, we have discussed about just interacting with LLMs. Okay. Again, I'm requesting, please don't post anything which is not related to this workshop or anything which is not related to the discussion which is going on here. Okay, if you post something which is not related to the discussion, then I cannot access this chat box and I cannot answer your questions. Okay, again, I'm requesting the same. Don't post anything other than what is going on here or other than the discussion which is going on here. Thereby, all of my time would be dedicated to deleting all these things and keeping all those things aside. Okay, and again, don't join any WhatsApp groups. Perfect. Now, interacting with LLMs. These are all things we have discussed in the last session. We'll have a small recap of what is GenAI. We are aware that GenAI is in fact a set of developer tools. A set of developer tools which are able to generate content. Whenever I say content, it is in the form of text, audio, video, code, etc. Okay. Then the next thing we have discussed is why GenAI is gaining popularity. Okay, and I have mentioned mainly three reasons because because people are enjoying these GenAI applications, or there is a lot of demand for these GenAI applications. And one application we have discussed about is the Chat GPT. It's a GenAI application. It is just a chat application which can answer any open-ended questions. Okay, people, there is a lot of demand for this GenAI applications because people are enjoying the experience of these GenAI applications. Second thing is, it is in fact a technical breakthrough. No need to train any model. No need to train any model. No need to host any model, and no need of wasting any money for the cloud and for training. Already the models are available. Just you need to use it. That's it, and you should know how to use it. And the third one is, okay, to use these models. It is something like a zero barrier entry. To use these models, it is very easy to use these models and build an application. Even a beginner can build an application maybe within a span of 1 week or 2 weeks. So zero barrier entry, very easy to build applications. Perfect. Then after GenAI, now the discussion what we have been carrying out. This discussion is for the resume analyzer tool. And as far as this resume analyzer tool is concerned, there are many models available in the generative AI, like the large language models, large vision models, and there are many large models available. But as far as resume analyzer tool is concerned, the input to the resume analyzer tool is in the form of text, and the output we want to have from the resume analyzer tool is also in the form of text. Because both are text, we are interested at one type of model called as large language model. Then we have started our discussion on the what is large language model. Then, in order to discuss about what is large language model, we have started with the what is a model. And we have seen that a model is just a relationship between input and output, and without any harm or without any deviation or without any much deviation, you can assume a model is something like y is equal to f of x. Not all models are of form y is equal to f of x, but you can safely assume that a model is something like y is equal to f of x, or I can say it is something like y is equal to x square, or it is something like y is equal to 3x plus 2, or of some general form, something like ax plus b. Okay. Or y is equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus up to so on till wn xn. All these w's are the coefficients. Okay. This is how you can assume a model is. And in fact, a large language model is also a very similar model of this sort. Not exactly the same form, similar model of this sort. Okay. Yes. A model is just a relationship between input and output. Then we have discussed about, okay, then we have discussed about how to build this model. How to build this model. To build these models, what we need to do is just to take the data and give this data to an algorithm, and this algorithm, the output of this process is the model. Okay. In our case, large language models, data is the large amount of text data or large amount of text. Algorithm is the transformers, and model is the large language model. Okay. This is how you get a model. Just by providing large amount of text data to the transformers, and this gives a model as output. And this process is called as training or model training. This process is called as training, and always training results a model. And whenever you have a model available with you, what you can do, whenever you have a model available with you, and if you provide input to the model, you will get the output from the model. And in order to provide output from the model, what is responsible? The parameters are responsible. The parameters are responsible. Now, what are these parameters? Already I have written some model like this: W1x1 plus W2x2 up to so on and so forth till W100 x100. Then all these W's, all the set of W's, W1, W2 up to so on till W100, these are called as parameters. Okay. Once we had our discussion on the model, we have discussed about language model. What is this language model? Again, it is language model finds the relationship between words in the natural language. It finds the relationship between words in the natural language. Okay. On very easy way, in the very easy way, you can remember this language model as a next word predictor. Next word predictor. Okay. And language models repetitively perform this operation. Next word prediction repetitively. Language models repetitively perform this operation of the next word prediction. Okay. Very easily you can remember the language model as a next word predictor, and all the language models perform this next word prediction repetitively. For example, if you give an input to the language model as hello, welcome, good. If you give this as input, then you'll get output as a something like either morning, based on the prior context. For example, if I made something like it's already 6 p.m. Then in continuation to this, it's already 6 p.m. If I say hello, welcome, and good as an input, then I'll get output as a, because it is 6 p.m., I'll get output as a evening. This is how the language model works, and this procedure is repeated by the language models, thereby you will get continuous text. Then we have discussed about large language model. What is this large language model? Language model is the next word prediction. Now, what is this large, or what does this adjective large refers to? Most of the people have a confusion that this large refers to, because to train these large language models, it requires a lot of data, but very unfortunately it is not. This large does not refer the large amount of data used for training. Large amount of data used for training. This large actually refers to large amount of parameters. Large amount of parameters. What is this parameters? W1, W2, up to so on W100. These are the parameters. If you have a model like y is equal to W1 x1 plus up to so on plus W100 x100, all these coefficients are called as parameters. and these coefficients determine the intelligence of your model. Intelligence of your model. And if you look at the parameters are very bold, very not, I cannot say bold models, very starting stage models like the GPT. It is around 175 million parameters. If you look at the starting llama model, it is around 405 billion parameters. Okay. Because these parameters are in the order of hundreds of millions and billions, then these are called as large language models. Okay. Yes. After discussion on the large language models, I think we have started our discussion on interacting with the LLMs. Or before that, we have, in order to access these large language models, we have many options available. Starting from the, you can access large language models available through GPT. You can access large language models available through Google Gemini. You can access large language models available through Grok, through Mistral, through Anthropic Claude. Okay, but not all large language models are available. You cannot access all large language models for free. GPT is purely a paid one. Okay, almost all are paid ones. Almost all are paid ones. But there are some models which are available through free trial. With some limitations, you will find this, or you will use this for free trial. It is completely paid. Now, out of this free tier, in the last session, we have opted for two, Gemini and Grok. And hope all of you are comfortable with this Gemini. The only thing I need to do is I need to discuss about the Grok. I'll show you again. Now, in order to access these large language models, we need an API key. Thereby, you can access the large language model which is available in their servers. Okay, you need an API key. Thereby, you can access the large language models which are available in their servers. Okay, for the API key, we have seen how to create a free API key for the Google Gemini, and we have seen this Grok too. Okay, now one thing you need to remember is whenever you create an API key, always go to the Google Colab secrets, and store your API key. Thereby, you can easily access the LLMs. Okay, these are all things we have discussed in the last session. I'll quickly look at the questions. If there are any, I'll quickly answer. Oh. We'll go for the practical implementation, in fact. Okay, now I think it is not the session based on the generative AI large language models. Thereby, we can discuss about these parameters and all, and how these parameters affect and all. Now, I think I cannot. Now we don't have much time to discuss about all this. Ghibli and all, these are all vision models. Vision models can create all those things. Okay, fine. We'll go back to our notebook. Yes, in the last session we have started this. We have started a piece of code to interact with the LLMs. And I have started with this OS, then import OS and this user data. Then in order to store the Gemini key, in order to store the Gemini key in the environment variable. This is the piece of code. Then we have discussed about how to import Google Gemini. Then we have discussed about how to import this syntax for interacting with Gemini. Then we have created a client to interact with the Gemini LLM. After that, we have used a piece of code to interact with the Gemini 2.5 flashlight. And if you want to ask query, just go to the parameter named as contents and give your query. This is how you can interact with an Gemini LLM. Okay. In order to format the output, we have used this IPython markdown. Okay. Then we have tried different variations of the prompts in order to get the output in the more concise way. No. Then I have started my discussion with the Grok key. Now what I'll do is I'll go to this Grok. I'll go to the Grok website. Okay. Okay. Once you go to the Grok website and once you log in or once you sign up into the Grok website, you'll find this type of screen. Then what you need to do is just click on the start building. Once you log into the Grok, you'll find this screen. Okay. Once you log into this, it will ask you for create a API key. If you want to create an API key, just click on the API key. Go to the API keys. Here at the top, you find this. This is the first screen. Go to the API keys. Once you go to the API keys, you'll find an option like create an API key. Just click on creating an API key. Thereby, you'll find this screen. Okay. Once you get this screen, just give some name to the key. Okay. The name is workshop key. And I don't want to have an expiration. Okay, I'll keep the expiration as 7 days. That is, this key would be useful for only 7 days till April 24. After that, it will be expired automatically. Then submit. Yes. Once I submit this, I got a key. Okay, then copy the key. Once you copy the key, you know the procedure, how to save this key. I'll show you again. Go to the secrets. In the secrets many, you'll find this type of add new secret. Then you'll find this type of add new secret. Then click on the add new secret. Once you click on the add new secret, it will ask you for some name to this key. Already I have one Grok available. I'll give name as the Grok 2. Then I'll paste this. I'll paste the key here. Once I paste the key here, then I'll enable the key. Now my key is pasted and I have enabled the key. Okay. Once I enable the key, I'll go for the same piece of code. That is Grok key. User data.get Grok 2. The name is grok2 here, grok2, and this is the environment variable for the grok key. In order to know the environment variable, what I can do is go to the grok website, and in the grok website, you'll find these documents. Go to the documents. In the documents, just click on the quick start. Click on the quick start. Then this quick start will guide you how to interact with the grok LLM. In order to have the key, in order to create a key, click here. Okay, once you create a key, this is the environment variable name. Just get the environment variable name and paste the environment variable name here and assign your grok key to the environment variable. Yes, assigned. And it is asking for access. Yes, grant access. Okay. Grok 3. I'll go for the Grok 3. Already have Grok 2 also available. I'll delete the Grok 2 and I'll go for Grok 3. And this is the Grok 3. Okay, I'm not aware whether I have the Grok 3. Now it is Grok 3. I have assigned this Grok 3 key to a variable named as Grok key. And I have assigned this Grok key to the environment variable. Thereby, no need to provide key again. No need to provide key whenever you are whenever you are creating a model object or client. Whenever you are creating a client, no need to provide the key. Once you are done with that, then go to the next step. What's the next step? Install the Grok. Copy this, paste here, run this. Grok is installed. Once you install the Grok, what's the next step? Next step is import the Grok. This is the piece of code available to import the Grok. I'll post this code through chat box. If anybody unable to find this, yes. Copy the import and paste it here. Run this. Once you run this, the next step is create a client of Grok. Create a client of Grok. Because already we have saved the API key in the environment variable, no need to provide the API key. Just copy the syntax and paste it here. Because already we have provided the API key, no need of providing the API key. We have provided API key to the environment variable, no need of providing it again. Client. Yes, a client is created at this location. Now, if you want to interact with the Grok, this is the piece of code available to interact with the, or this is the piece of code you need to follow to interact with the Grok. Okay, we'll discuss about the piece of code. Yes, this is the piece of code. First one is the client.chatcompressions.create. It is the syntax. Then you need to provide your query. Okay, because you are a user, and just provide role as user and content as the query, or I can say, or very formally we call it as a prompt. This is called as, because the role you defined as an user, it is called as user prompt. It is called an user prompt. Okay. Now, once you give the user prompt, it shows you the model. Okay. And here by default, Llama 3.3 is selected. If you want, you can change the model. I'll show you. Go to the models here. In the models, you'll find all the list of models available here. Okay. Gamma 3.1, 8 billion, 8 billion is the parameters. Gamma 3.3, 70 billion is the parameters. GPT OSS 120 billion is the parameters. These are all parameters. Okay. Now, for example, if I want to use the GPT 120 billion, then select here. Select here, thereby the link will be copied. This model name will be copied. What is the model name? The displayed is not the name. This is the model name. OpenAI by GPT OSS 120 billion. model name would be copied. Just paste the model name here. Paste the model name here and run this code. Thereby you can interact with the GPT OSS 120 billion model and you'll get the response. Yes, this is the response. But if you look at the response is in different format. Now I want to get just a text from the response. If you want to get only text from the response, this is the point where the text is available. Now I need to find out, or I need to chain. I need to write the chain till the content. To write the chain, after the chat completions, you'll find a choices. You'll find a parameter named as choices, and it's a list. Then I'll apply this. I'll write this chain choices because choices is a list, and in the list, the first element is the choice. Now I want to go to the first element. Dot in this first element again in the message it is available. In the message it is available. MESSAG. And in the message with the content it is available. Dot content. And this will give you the just a text. This will give you just a text of your response. Yes, the same thing is available here. This is the just a text of your response. And if you want to convert this into the readable way, use the mark. Yes. And this is the response that LLM given to. This is how you can create an API key and interact with the LLMs. Okay. But for our resume analyzer tool, we don't use this. We don't use the syntaxes or software develop SDKs from the Grok and Gemini. I'll write here. For our resume analyzer tool, okay, we don't go with the raw LLMs. Rather than writing raw is purely informal. For this resume analyzer tool, we don't use this SDKs software development kits. SDK means SDKs provided by the Gemini and SDK provided with the Grok. Okay. Even it is possible to build any tool with the SDK provided by the Gemini and SDK provided by the Grok. Okay, it is possible, but for the sake of better tools and for the sake of better quick development or quick building the tool, okay, for the sake of building the tool quickly or building the tool quickly and easily, or for the sake of quick development, we'll be using a framework named as LangChain. With the LangChain framework, we'll be building our resume analyzer tool. Okay. There are some advantages, we'll discuss about it. Okay. Even though some SDKs are provided by the Gemini and Grok, we're not going to use it only for the sake of building it quickly and easily. And for the quick development or less development time, we'll be using this LangChain. Now, why LangChain? Why not SDKs? Why LangChain? Okay. There are mainly three reasons. There are many reasons available, but there are mainly three reasons I'll state for opting the LangChain always. There are many reasons, in fact. The first reason is our LLMs are stateless. Okay, I'll explain these things. Stateless. Okay. Second thing is LLMs. Okay, with the LLMs, you cannot get information related to any data which is not public. Or I can say with the LLMs, you cannot get your answers. You cannot get your answers on proprietary data. On proprietary data. And the third one is with the LLMs, you cannot get your answers on very recent events. You cannot get answers for very recent events. That is, who won the yesterday's IPL match, that you cannot get from your LLMs. You cannot get your answers. You cannot get the responses related to very recent events. One example for the stateless is LLMs. Stateless is nothing but LLMs don't possess any memory. And through LLMs, you cannot get the information about proprietary data. For example, every organization has some rules manual available. If you want to access the rules manual of a particular organization like Innomatics, you cannot access the rules manual, or you cannot get any answers from the rules manuals of Innomatics. For example, if you want to find what about the leave policy in the Innomatics, you cannot find it. Even the Innomatics employee cannot find it through LLM. If I search for a leave policy in Innomatics in the LLM, I cannot find it. For that, you need some tools. For that, you need to build some tools, and those building tools are available with the LangChain, and very quickly and very easily you can do this. Okay. For example, if I want to find out who won yesterday's match between IPL match between Mumbai Indians and the Kings 11 and the Punjab or Punjab people, this Punjab team, that you cannot find through LLMs. Okay. If you want to get this, you need some tools, or you need to build some tool. And to build such tools, all these tools are available in the LangChain, and you can easily access and easily use those. At the same time, LLM is stateless. LLM don't have memory, but if you want to add memory, you can easily add memory through the LangChain. Okay, these are just 3 reasons what I prefer to discuss, but there are a large number of reasons available why people go with the LangChain. And another reason which is quite superior than these 3 reasons is LangChain unifies the LLM development. Application development using LLMs. LLM application development. Okay, we'll discuss about these 4. Okay, first one is LangChain unifies the LLM application development. What is this unifying it is an unified framework. It is a unified framework for LLM application development. What is this unified framework? Okay, that is irrespective of the LLM provider. It might be Gemini, it might be Grok, it might be OpenAI. Irrespective of the LLM provider, okay, you can build an application with same code. You can build an application with same code. Same piece of code. In order to explain this to you, what I'll do is I'll go back to my Collab notebook. Now, we have already discussed about interacting with the LLM. Now, if you look at the interacting with the LLM, this is the piece of code used to interact with the Gemini. Okay, I'll copy here. To interact with Gemini, this is the piece of. And to interact with Grok, I'll copy the piece of code. To interact with Grok, where is the piece of code? Yes. This is the piece of code to interact with Grok. To interact with Grok, this is the piece of code. Now, just compare these two pieces of code to interact with this Gemini. This is the piece of code. Interact with Grok. This is the piece of code. These two codes are not same. Just interact itself is not same. But if I use LangChain, the code is similar. Only difference is this model line. Only difference you observe is this model line. And other than this model line, the remaining code is same. This is called as unified frame. I'll show you this. This is called as unified frame. Okay. Irrespective of the LLM provider, the code remains same. Only difference is the argument to the parameter model. Here argument to the parameter is the Gemini. Here argument to the parameter is the Grok offered OpenAI GPT. That's it. Okay. I'll show you this. Then next one is, okay, once we done with the discussion, then I'll show you this. Next one is LLMs are stateless or LLMs are memoryless. Okay, rather than writing something here, I'll directly show you this. Already we have syntax available. Okay, I'll go with this Gemini. First, I'll introduce myself to the Gemini. I'll introduce myself to the Gemini like, hello, I am Sriram. What is not available? Models object has no attribute generate content. Perfect. The problem is I need to run the. Okay. Instead, anyway, already Grok is available. I'll go with the Grok then. Already Grok model is right away available. I'll go with the Grok, then Gemini. Okay, just whatever it is, it's an LLM. Grok. I'll introduce myself like, hello, I am Sriram. Yes. What's the response? Hello, Sriram. Nice to meet you. How can I assist you today? Now, I want to know. I want to know the advantages, or I want to know the purpose of LangChain. The purpose of LangChain in three lines. Just 3 lines. Yes. Is a framework which developers build applications with the large language models. It provides a modular component like prompts. Okay, it provides a large number of tools for quickly and easily creating a application. Okay, now after query, now what I'll do is I'll ask this Grok about what is my name. Because already I have introduced with the Grok. It should answer, in fact, what is my name? What is my name? Now, what it responds? I don't actually have any information about your name. Okay. If you would like me to address in some way, just let me know. See, one cell back or quite very recently I have introduced with this LLM. And if I ask LLM what is my name, it is unable to respond. This is called as stateless. Stateless, or I can say no memory. Okay. In order to address this, but for example, one application which really needs memory is the conversational chatbots. conversational chatbots. If you want to build a chatbot, if you want to build a chatbot, your chatbot must remember the previous conversations. Must remember the previous conversations. But if you build a chatbot using LLM, if you build a chatbot using LLM, and because LLM has no memory, LLM cannot remember your past messages. Thereby, the whole purpose of this chatbot is compromised. Thereby, the whole purpose of this chatbot gets compromised. This is called as statelessness. Then, in order to create this conversational chatbot, one thing you can do is you need to add some memory to it. You need to add the memory. For adding memory, we have some tools available in the LangChain. Thereby, you can quickly and you can very easily add the memory. There are some tools available in the LangChain. With these tools, easily you can easily add memory. Thereby, you can easily build a conversational chat. This is the advantage with the LangChain. You can easily create some memory and you can create a conversational chatbot that can remember the user's messages or that can remember the customer's messages. Thereby, the whole purpose of the conversational chatbot gets satisfied or whole purpose is served. Okay, if you build a conversational chatbot with uh, uh, some Grok LLM, some Grok LLM or LLM offered by the Grok, because there is no memory with this LLM, what happened? Then the whole purpose gets compromised. But we have very sophisticated tools available in the LangChain that enables you to add memory to the chatbot. Thereby, your whole conversational chatbot purpose will be served. This is one reason why we go with this chat. We go with the LangChain. Then second one is the proprietary data. For example, if any organization employee want to access the proprietary data which is associated with the organization, in such cases, because LLMs are trained on okay, publicly available data. These LLMs don't have any access to the proprietary data. In such cases, what we need to do is to the LLM application, you need to add your proprietary data. Add your proprietary data in the form of vectors, and this approach is called as retrieval augmented generation. Okay. Adding your proprietary data and make users to get their queries answered on the proprietary data. This is called as RAG. And to build this RAG application, we have very sophisticated tools available in the LangChain. We have very sophisticated tools available in the LangChain. Thereby, you can easily build this RAG. Thereby, you can provide access to the user by asking the queries about proprietary data. Okay. This is the second reason. And third reason is if you ask any recent information about LLM, LLMs cannot answer. LLMs cannot answer. Okay. LLMs cannot answer because LLMs are trained on the past data. LLMs are trained on the past data. While you're using this ChatGPT or Perplexity, if you ask any question, then ChatGPT or Perplexity responds you that in this way. That is, this application is trained on the data till August 2025. August 2025. That is, if you ask any query before August 2025 or any query based on data before August 2025, LLM can answer. Otherwise, it cannot answer. Okay. In order to get answers for very recent queries, what you need to do is you need to add some tools. And and with the LangChain, you can very easily add the tools and make the tool calls. Okay. These are the main reasons why we are using LangChain instead of the Gemini SDK, Grok SDK, OpenAI SDK. Even OpenAI has a good SDK available. Gemini has SDK and ADK available. But if you use that, one problem is, that those are not unified. Okay, if you, for example, if you build a large application with an OpenAI API, OpenAI SDK, we built a large GenAI application with a very sophisticated SDK available with the OpenAI, or I could say Gemini, and this is the very large application. Okay, and after some point of time, this Gemini increases the API costs. Now, because Gemini increases this API cost, if you want to move to the Grok. If you want to move to the Grok, then what you need to do is you need to rewrite the whole code. You need to rewrite the whole code that is suitable for the Grok SDK. Okay. But if you use LangChain, what happens is, for example, if you build the same application using LangChain, that is with Gemini API, if you use the same application with the LangChain, a large application with LangChain. For example, if you want to shift to the Gemini to Grok API, then only thing you need to change is a single line of, you need to change or you need to modify, not whole code. It is just a single line. What is that single line? That is just the model name. That's it. If you change the model name, okay, and if you give this model API key, that is enough. No need of changing and no need of rewriting the whole code. This is called as a unified framework. Okay. Now what we'll do is I'll just ask LLM about yesterday's match. Yesterday, I think some cricket match is happened between the Mumbai Indians and the this Punjab team. Okay, I'll just ask a query about this, about the who won the match, who won the IPL 2026, IPL 2026 match between Mumbai Indians and Punjab team. I don't remember exactly the name. Punjab team. Now we'll see what we get. Okay. I'm sorry, but I don't have information on that match. You might check the latest sports news for the reliable results. Because this GPT OSS 120B is trained on, maybe as far as I remember, it trained on around 2024. And if you ask any question before 2024, it may answer. But after 2024, it cannot answer. If you want to answer these type of questions, you need to add some tools to this LLM. Okay, that we will discuss. Okay. Yes. This is the motivation for, this is the reason why we are using the LangChain. Okay, once you are clear about why are we using this LangChain to build the application, then we'll move to the next step. The first step is just how to call a model, or how to call a chat model in LangChain. Hope Hope all of you are clear with this. I'll just go through a few questions. I don't have any yesterday's. Okay, please. Uh, okay. Questions about attendance, please don't ask me. Okay. With that, I think you're spending my. Okay, I will go for it. Once again, explain. Okay. Ayyo, I cannot explain again and again, Grok. All they have explained it. I spent good amount of time revising. Uh, have facing issue with the environment variable. Just check the correct spelling and the correct spelling of environment variable from the website. This is the only reason why I'm showing this website from where you can get this environment variables. Okay, we have lang graph. Yes. Okay. Fine. That is fine. Thank you. Invalid API key. Just check the API key once at the time of pasting. Fine. Now we'll start with the how to import a model in the LangChain. Like yesterday's approach, I'll show you the reference and I'll do this procedure. I'll show you the reference. Thereby you cannot make any mistakes. Okay. Yes. Now we'll go to this LangChain documentation. Just type LangChain in the Google or any search. Thereby, you'll be directed to this LangChain website. This is the LangChain website. This is the LangChain website. And this LangChain website, if you want to know how to use LangChain, then better go with this LangChain documentation. Okay, follow these instructions and do the same. Thereby, you can directly copy the code without any mistake. Okay, docs. Go to this LangChain docs. Once you go to the LangChain docs, first you'll find this LangSmith, because LangSmith is one application which is earning money for the LangChain. That's the reason why LangSmith is they keep LangSmith at the first. After this, you'll find the open source agent frameworks, and there are 3 open source agent frameworks available, out of which the first one is the deep agents. Deep agents is still in the development phase. If you even you learn deep agents now, you need to again relearn, or you need to again modify your syntaxes and all. Okay, because it is still in the development mode. Now this is not the correct time to, or this is not worthy to learn the deep agents. And next one is the LangChain. It is very easy to learn LangChain, and it's very easy to build applications with the LangChain. Third one is the LangGraph. Even it is easy to learn LangGraph, but one problem with the LangGraph is in order to build applications using LangGraph, there is some learning curve for the LangGraph. First, you need to know about this state schemas and all. There is some learning curve for the LangGraph. That's the reason why I'll be building application with the LangChain. Okay. Yes, deep agents are quite new. This is not the right time to learn the deep agents. Still, it is in the development mode. Then LangGraph has some learning curve. That's the reason why I'm not using this LangGraph. Okay, I'm using this LangChain to build the application. Yes, in order to use the LangChain, just click on the LangChain. Ayyo. LangChain Python. Yes. Now. Now, this is the documentation page for all these 3 applications: deep agents, LangChain, LangGraph, and remaining are the shared resources among these 3. Integrations, reference, learn, all these are shared resources among these 3. You'll find the integrations in the deep agents, LangChain, and LangGraph. These remaining are the shared resources. Shared resources for these 3. Okay. Now, in order to build a model, in order to call an API, in order to interact with an API, okay, you need to go to these integrations. In the integrations, you'll find the popular providers. In these popular providers, we are mainly interested in the 2 popular providers. One is the Google, and there is the Grok. If I want to interact with the Gemini, then I need to go to this Google. Just click on the Google. Thereby, you'll find syntax to access the Google. Yes. Just to scroll this, then you'll find something called as chat models. These are the name, this is the name, or this is the terminology used to refer the model in the LangChain. This is called as chat model. Just click on the chat model. I'll copy this documentation page and I'll post this in the chat box. Use this space to access this space. Use this link to access this space. Now, I'll again go back and show you. In the LangChain documentation, go to the integrations. In the integrations, you'll find the popular providers. In the popular providers, click on the Google. In the Google, you'll find something called as chat models. Then click on the chat models. Now you'll find information about how to access the or how to interact with this Gemini LLM through LangChain. Now, what's the first one? Installation. Copy it. Paste it. Run this. Thereby, LangChain, Google GenAI or LangChain integration with the Gemini, this library gets installed. Once it is installed, already we have assigned our Gemini key to the environment variable, then no need to assign it again. Okay. Already we have assigned it to the environment variable. You can use either Google API key or Gemini API key. We have already done this. No need to do it again. Now, if you want to load the model, then this is the import live statement. Copy the import statement. And because we have already installed it, it will be imported right away. Import it. Okay. Once you import it, if you want to interact with the Gemini LLM, then this is the piece of code. Okay, we don't want all these parameters. Only parameter required is the model. And don't use Gemini 3.1 Pro preview. Number of calls are quite less. Only you get 10 calls per hour and 20 calls per day. Okay, you cannot use for a long time. Use the Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite model. Yes. Then have successfully created a client to access the Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite. Have successfully created a client to access the Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite model. Now, if I want to interact with the Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite, then you'll find a piece of code available here. This is the piece of. Copy this and paste this. This is the syntax. Okay, and this messages, it is called as prompt. From here to here, it is called as prompt. And in the prompt, you see two inputs. One is called as system and there is human. And we frequently refer it as a system prompt. We frequently refer it as a system prompt and we refer this as a human. System prompt and human. Okay, human prompt is nothing but the query that user want to ask the LLM. Query that user want to ask LLM. Or user want to know from LLM. These are called as human prompt and sometimes you can see with the other name called as user. Human prompt or user prompt. Okay, then next one is called as system prompt. System prompt is used to just assign a role to the LLM. Or to uh, uh, to regulate the behavior uh, or to yes, to decide the behavior of LLM. That is something like, for example, decide the behavior of LLM. Behavior of LLM. For example, if you want to get a lecture notes of some topic, then you can give you a system prompt like this: act as a teacher. Act as a teacher. Thereby, in the human prompt, you will ask, provide lecture notes for LLMs. Provide lecture notes for LLMs. Okay. To decide the role of an LLM, you can use this system prompt. Okay. For example, if you want to know the who will win in the today's match, in the today's match, who will win in the today IPL 2026 match. Okay. Today's match. If you want to know who will win in the today's match, who will win in the today's match, then one thing you can do for the better response. One thing you can do is you just assign a role to the system. You just assign a role to the LLM that okay, you are a expert in you are an expert in cricket analysis. Then ask your question: who will win the today's IPL match between some so and so teams? Okay, to decide the role of an LLM, these system messages are used. And to ask the query, these human messages are used. And it is always recommended to decide the role of an LLM. Thereby, you will get very good responses. Otherwise, you will get some random responses or not very good quality responses. If you want to have very good quality responses, it is always recommended to assign the role to the LLM, and the role is like this: you are an expert in cricket analysis, you are an expert at predicting the stock prices, you are an expert at predicting the gold price, you are an expert at generative AI, you are an expert at machine learning, you are an expert in something, and you ask the query pertaining to the topic. Okay. These are the two pieces of prompts, or the other two pieces of information we provide through the prompts. One is called as system prompt, another is called as human prompt. System prompt is used to assign a role and decide the behavior of LLM, and human prompt is used to ask the query. Okay, and this is the way to provide the system prompt and human prompt. Okay. See here, a role is assigned very clearly. You are a helpful assistant that translate English to the French. Translate the given statement from English to the French. A role is assigned. Now the role of this system is a translator. Yes. Now already we have imported this model, or already we have created the client of the Gemini. Now I can directly write it. Now I can directly run this. Now, in the previous case, we have seen that in order to get the response, you just call the response. But here, if you want to call the model, you need in the LangChain. If you want to call the model, you need to use a method named as invoke. Invoke is used to call the model. Okay. To call the model, use the invoke. There is model.invoke of messages. What is this messages? Messages is nothing but the prompt. Messages is nothing but the prompt. Okay. Yes. This is our prompt. Messages is the prompt. Prompt mainly consists of two statements. One is the system prompt, and there is the human prompt. System prompt is used to assign a role, or is used to decide the behavior of an LLM, and human prompt is used to ask the query to the LLM. Okay, and if I want to call this model to answer this query, then use the model.invoke and the prompt here, messages. Thereby, your client model will be interacted with an LLM and returns the response into a variable named as AI message. Okay, I'll run this. Yes. Now I got the response. What is the response? This is the French. This is the French translation of "I love programming." This is the French translation of "I love programming." In the previous case, in the Gemini, we have seen that in order to get the response, in the Gemini, we have used the method dot text. In the Grok, we have used the method like uh, dot choice of zero dot messages dot content. But here it is very easy. AI message dot just content. That's it. You'll get the answer. Or you can access the text form of your answer. And if you want to really convert it into the very readable way, you can use the markdown of. That's it. Okay, this is how you can interact with the Gemini. Okay, this is how you can interact with the Gemini LLM using LangChain syntax. Now I want to interact with the Grok LLM now. I want to interact with the Grok LLM. As we discussed, it is just a change in one line. I'll show you this. I'll show you that. For the Grok, what I need to do is I need to have some installation, or I need to do some installation in this way. Go to the Grok. Yes. After go to the Grok, go to the chat Grok. Yes. After going to the chat Grok, you'll find the procedure. Yes. In order to use this Grok through LangChain, you need to install this. Copy. Paste. Thereby LangChain Grok is installed. Once LangChain Grok is installed, just import the LangChain Grok model. Import the LangChain Grok model. This is the import statement from LangChain underscore Grok. From LangChain underscore Grok, import chat Grok. Import chat Grok. Then now I want to create a client of this Grok. To create a client of this Grok, what I need to do is model is equal to chat Grok of. For Gemini, I have provided Gemini 2.5 flashlight. For Grok, I need to provide some model name. Okay, by default, it is the Alibaba's model Quen. Okay, if you want GPT, just go to the Grok website. Go to the Grok website. Ayyo. Grok website. Go to this dashboard. Sorry, go to the playground. In the playground, you'll find a list of models. These are the different models available. Just because you want to use GPT, copy this. Copy and paste the model name. Paste the model name. Model. This is the only one line difference needed. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll copy all these cells and I'll paste. I'll copy all these cells and I'll run these cells. Without any change in the code, I can run the same lines. Only difference is the model. Just this model line. Previously, it is model is equal to chat Google generate AI. Now here model is equal to chat Grok. Then that's it. No need of change in the prompt, no need of change in the calling model. I'll run this. Okay. Yes. This is the response from the Grok LLM. Only difference is the model line. Here in the Grok it is chat Grok. In the Gemini it is chat Google generate AI. That's it. This is the only difference needed. This is the only difference needed. Okay. Now we are aware of how to use models from the LangChain. We call those models as the chat models. We are aware of how to use these chat models from the how to use this, how to create the clients, or how to use the models using LangChain syntax. In order to use the models, one thing you need to do is go to this LangChain website. In the LangChain website, go to the integrations. In the integrations, you'll find different providers. If you want to use OpenAI, if you have OpenAI API key available, then go to the OpenAI key, go to the chat OpenAI, and just follow the procedure given here. This procedure will make you load the OpenAI API key and OpenAI model. If you have Anthropic, go to this. AWS, go to this. NVIDIA, Hugging Face, so on and so forth. This is how you can load an API, or you can build a client of any LLM with the help of LangChain. Okay. Yes. Okay. And one thing I want you to do is, there is a very new way to access the models. A very new way available to access the models. Just after the session, just go through these ones. Just click on the LangChain. Once you click on the LangChain, you'll find different components here, out of which one component is the models. Once you click on the models, you'll find a syntax to load the model. You'll find a syntax to load the model. This is the syntax. LangChain.chat models, import init chat model. This is one thing. Okay, this is a new way of doing it, a new way of accessing the models. Just I recommend all of you to just go through this page and try to know how to access models using init chat model. Okay, even I can discuss, but this is a time, but I have time constraint. I cannot do it all. I cannot explain all the ways of doing it. Okay, but it is worth knowing. It is very easy to load a model using chat models in comparison with this chat Google generative AI chat Grok. Okay? It is very easy. A single syntax to load model offered by the model provided by the any provider. Okay. In case of Grok, our syntax is chat Grok. In case of Gemini, our syntax is chat Google generative AI. But if you use init chat models, no need of many syntaxes. With one syntax, you can load any model provided by the provider, any provider. Okay, just go through this once after the session. Okay. Now, once we know how to use these models, the next step you need to know is how to ask prompt, or how to give a prompt. How to give a prompt. As far as giving prompt is concerned, you need to mainly know about two things, out of which the first one is called as prompt engineering. Prompt engineering. Second thing is called as prompt templates. Prompt templates. These are the two things you need to know. Okay. Prompt engineering is just a small set of rules you need to keep in mind while writing a prompt. Small set of rules you need to keep in mind while writing a prompt. Prompt template is again a very simple syntax to uh, write prompts in the write prompts to communicate with the LLM. Okay, there are mainly two things you need to know. One is called as the writing prompts using the system message in the form of messages, and another is the writing prompts in the form of templates. Okay, these are the two ways to ask prompts or write prompts in the LangChain. One is in the form of messages, and there is in the form of templates. Okay, these are the two things you need to be aware if you want to write a prompt to the LLM. Once you are aware of how to write a prompt to the LLM, then directly we'll jump to how to create a tool and we'll build the resume. Okay. Yes. Now for the prompt engineering, I don't write and I don't run all these things. What I'll do is I have my notebook available. I'll show you what are the different rules available. What are the different rules available to write a prompt. Yes, I'll show you. There are very simple rules available to write a prompt. Okay, always these are the rules. To write prompts, these are the simple rules available. First one is the wording of the prompt. Always have a precise wording of the prompt. Thereby you will get your answer very precisely. For example, here I have considered three ways. One is the very vague prompt, that is what is Diwali. Thereby your LLM will provide very large response. Okay, and the next one is the specific prompt. Okay, what exactly you want to know about the Diwali, just to provide that. Thereby you will get the answer what you are really expecting, the answer what you really want to know. And the third one is the detailed prompt. Okay, what you want to know, just provide in detail, thereby you will get very narrow down answer. Okay. The first thing while writing the prompts, first thing you need to aware of is the what should be the wording of the prompts. Okay. Now, for example, if I ask what is Diwali, I got a very large response. Then I ask about very precise question like give a brief explanation about Diwali traditions. Thereby, it will give only traditions about Diwali, not all the information pertaining to the Diwali. And the third one is a detailed prompt. I have asked a detailed explain Diwali with religion variations across India. Thereby, I will get the different religions and what are the variations in the Diwali festival. Okay. This is the first rule you need to remember while writing the prompts. Wording of the prompt. Your prompt would be very precise. Okay, if your prompt is precise, you will get the precise answer from the LLM or precise response from the LLM. If your prompt is very vague, you'll get very long response which consists of very large amount of information. Thereby you need to check. Thereby you need to search for the information what you are really required or what you really want to know. This is the first rule. And second rule is the just balance of length. Balance of length. Okay, don't go for too brief prompts and too large prompts. Okay, too brief prompts leads to list of Indian festivals. Thereby, you will get a large number of festivals. Too brief prompts leads to very large responses, and too verbose prompts leads to very short responses. Always have a balance of your length. Always provide the prompts which are neither too brief nor too long. Too long prompts gives you very small answers, very narrow down answers, and too brief prompts gives very long answers. Have a balance between these two, thereby you will get the required answer. And the third one is the rule. As we discussed, third one is the rule. At the time of writing prompt, always assign the roles like author and audience. I have given some examples. See this. Specify who and whom, and act as a CBSE science teacher, and just give some guidelines to prepare for the CBSE exam. Okay, here the system role is the CBSE science teacher, and user query is the provide lecture notes or provide lecture notes or explain photosynthesis. Then second one. Okay, again author and audience or provide roles. Act as a Mumbai street vendor and explain difference between idli and dosa. Act as a Mumbai street vendor is your system prompt. Thereby you can decide the behavior of the system. Then your query is explain the difference between idli and dosa. Okay. Whenever you are writing prompt, just provide the role and the roles clearly. What is the exact role of a LLM and what is the exact role of a user? Okay, in the first example, the exact role of LLM is the science teacher and role of the user is the student. In the second example, role of the LLM is the Mumbai street vendor and the role of the user is a person who want to know the difference between idli and dosa. Okay, and for the third one, the exact role is the person who know cricket and exact role of this LLM is the person who know cricket and exact role of the user is a kid who don't know about cricket and who want to know about the cricket. Okay, always define the roles clearly. Who and who. Okay, then. Okay, the same thing I have mentioned here, system prompt and user prompt. The next one is the goal or scope control. Always provide this scope of your question. That is, list the top three reasons, write SI in the 100 words, and exactly provide the five multiple choice questions. Define the scope. While writing the prompt, define the scope. If you don't define the scope, you will get a very large responses with very large amount of information. You need to check the required information. Thereby, always provide the goals or always provide the scope. And there are many ways to provide the scope. The first way of providing scope is the format. In which format you want your response to be. Is it in the form of paragraph or is it in the form of a JSON, in the list? And what length you want your answer to be. Is it a single word, two words, one sentence, or 50 words, 100 words? Third one is the style. In which style you want your response to be. In which style you want your response to be. First one is in which style you want your in which format you want your response to be. At which length you want your response to be. Third one is at which style you want your response to be. Do you want your response in the form of JSON, in the form of a code, in the form of XML? And fourth one, in which way you want your response, in which tone you want your response to have. Okay, it's a formal tone, casual tone, humorous tone, so on and so forth. And the last one is the context. Okay, at which context is the answer LLM should respond. At which context the LLM should respond. These are the 5 ways in which you can control the scope of you can give the scope through the prompt. Okay, these are the 5 ways you can give the scope through the prompt. Then the last one is you need to provide the inclusion and exclusion criteria. That is what is to be mentioned and or what you want to incorporate in your response and what you don't want to incorporate in your response. Okay. It is called as inclusion exclusion criteria, or I can say positive and negative prompting. Okay, that is in my response I don't want any negative words. In my response I don't want to know a detailed answer about so and so. For example, if I ask something like I want to know what are the topics available, or what is the roadmap to learn the agentic AI, then the inclusions are okay, list out all the topics which are available, or all the recent topics which are available, which are needed to learn the agentic AI. And what I don't want to know is explanation about all these topics. Explanation about all these topics. Okay. You need to provide what you want to have in your response, what you don't want to have in your response. Okay. These are the 5 rules you need to keep in mind while writing a prompts. While writing prompts. First one is I will just look at all the 5 again. First one is the precise wording of the prompts. Second one is the balance in the length. If you are providing short prompts, get large responses. Long prompts get short responses. Third one is the assign the roles, like who is other and the audience. Assign the roles to the your LLM and the user. LLM as a teacher, user as a student. LLM as a vendor, user as a user as a customer. The next one is this is the fourth one. Next one is the scope. Okay, you need to define the scope. How many words you want it to be? What should be the length, so on and so forth. And last one is the inclusion and exclusion criteria. What you want to have in your response. What you don't want to have in your response. This is how you can write prompts. Okay. Once you are aware of how to write prompts, then we can discuss about what are the different ways to give prompts through the LangChain. Okay. In the form of messages, in the form of templates. Okay. Already we have one prompt available. This is the prompt. This is the very basic way of writing the prompt. A very basic way of writing the prompt. Now, one better way of writing the prompt is with the help of messages. Okay. Again, what I'll do is I'll show you the syntax where you'll get this information. Thereby directly you can copy it. Okay. Go to the LangChain. In the LangChain, Just click on this LangChain. In the LangChain, you will find messages here. Just select the messages. Select the messages. Thereby, you'll find how what's this another way to give a prompt. Okay, in the form of messages. No need of creating these tuples. Here, just look this here. In order to provide the system prompt, you have given system comma prompt. And in order to provide human prompt, you have given human comma prompt. But there is a better way to do this. And the better way is with the help of system message and human message. Okay. In order to use this, what I'll do is I'll copy this for the sake of going through this link. Yes, use this. Okay, if you want my collab link. Now, if you want to use system message and human message, just copy this import statement. Import statement, paste it here. Thereby, system message and human message are imported. Once you have the system message and human message, then you can very easily write this prompt. Messages. In the messages, no need of writing all these things. Already system message is imported, then use system message of content is equal to this. System message of content is equal to. Content is equal to. Now, for human message, no need of creating these tuples and all. Just directly use the human message. Human message and give the prompt. That's it. System message. Okay, no need to provide this content. In fact, if you want, you can provide it. Content is equal to. Then provide these messages to the call. Model.invoke. Invoke means just call. Model.invoke messages. Now see this? Yes. This is one way of providing the prompt. And one advantage of having this way of providing the prompt is, okay, one advantage of having this way of providing the prompt is, I'll show you. Even you can use the F strings. F strings, what you can use in the Python. Even you can use the F strings. Now what I'll do is, okay. Now instead of French, if I want to convert to the Germany, German. Now what I'll do is I'll create an F string, language F string, and here I'll provide language is equal to German. Language is equal to German, and in the system message I have provided language. Now run this. Yes. Now see the answer. German. This is one advantage we have with the system message and human message. Not just writing the prompts, you can use F strings. Thereby you can change, you can create some variables and give the dynamic inputs to these variables. This is an advantage we have with the system message and human message. Okay. Now, instead, I don't want to always ask the same input as I love programming. Now, what I will do is, instead, I'll convert it to the F query. And language is equal to German. Okay, instead of German, I want to convert this to Hindi. And query. query is equal to, I'll give my name. I am Sriram. Just translate this to Hindi. Okay. Query and language are given. Here query is the variable and here and in the system prompt language is the variable. Now directly these two will be taken. First I'll run this language and query. Now see this. Perfect. It is translated to Hindi. This is one advantage we have with the system message and the human message. Okay. This is one good way of writing the prompts instead of using the user and the state user and the statement and system and the state. System message and human message. Okay. I think hope I have communicated this way of writing the prompts with the system message and human message. Just import the system message and human message from the LangChain website. In the LangChain documentation, directly go to the messages. In the messages, you find the syntax of this human message, system message. Just copy the syntax and instead of using the system message and human message as a strings in the world format, you can use this. Okay. Instead one more thing you can do. I'll show you. Instead, you can do one more thing. That is, no need to provide your prompts here. You can assign your prompts to, for example, this is my system. This is my system prompt. Okay. I'll copy this system prompt to a variable named as system prompt. SYS system prompt. Okay. And I'll copy this human prompt to a variable named as human prompt. And here, just to provide the variables. Human prompt. System prompt and human. Okay. Now I want to convert this to, I want to translate this to Telugu language and the same message. I don't know whether it is available or not. We'll see. Yes. Okay. No need to provide the prompt in the system message and human message cell. Even you can have your prompts at different place just to provide the variable in which you store the prompt. Okay. This is one good way of writing the prompts. Thereby, you can have a lot of control for writing the prompts. Okay. This is about writing the prompts. Okay. Once you are aware of writing the prompts and once you are aware of loading the model from the LangChain, now you can easily build, you can easily make a toolkit. Now our next intention is to just make a tool call and create an agent. Okay. This is our next intention. Once you are aware of how to create an agent, then the remaining thing is just writing the prompts. Okay. Now, tool call and agent. Tool call and agent. How to create a tool call and how to have a tool call and how to build a simple agent. We'll do that. For the tool call, okay, again, go back to the LangChain library. In the LangChain library, go to the integrations. In the integrations, you will find the tools and toolkits. Go to the tools and toolkits. In the tools and toolkits, you have a large number of tools available. You can use any of these tools. Okay. Now I want to have a search tool. I want to have a search tool. To have a search tool, these are the different search tools available. Many search tools are free. Just look at the search tools. Bing Search, it is paid. Brave Search, it is free, but it needs login. Cloro, it is paid. DuckDuckGo, I always recommend using this DuckDuckGo. It is really a good search tool. And it is free, no need of login to. Okay. Then extra search. Okay. It is paid. And many searches are paid and some searches are free. Okay. Even Google Search is free, but only problem with the Google Search is you need to log in. You need to log in. Okay. And out of all these search tools, one search tool which is quite famous or quite popular is the Tavily search. But it needs login. It needs login, and you have only 1,000 API calls or 1,000 searches. You can only perform 1,000 searches per month. Okay, because it needs login. I don't want to use this now. Okay, but this is really a popular search tool. Most of the times people use it. Okay, now because one tool, okay, and in all these search tools, one tool which don't need login and it is free, which works very well, is the DuckDuckGo search. Now we'll be using this DuckDuckGo search and we'll try to run this DuckDuckGo search. Okay, click on the DuckDuck. Copy this install state, install line, paste it here. Thereby it is installed. Once it is installed, directly you have this code available to import and create a search. Yes, this is the import statement. Import statement, and once you import this, directly create an object of this search, and with the help of this search invoke, you can ask a question and get the response. Response is equal to response. Now my question is, previously I have asked one question to the LLM and LLM failed to answer a question. Okay, if you remember, there is the question based on the yesterday's match. That is, who won the match between Mumbai Indians and the Punjab team in the yesterday's IPL 2026. Okay, now I'll ask the question to this DuckDuckGo search. We'll see whether it answers or not. If it answers, then we have an advantage. We can add this tool to our LLM. Thereby, LLM is also able to answer this question. Okay. Yes, I'll do this first. Who won the match between? Who won the IPL 2026 match? IPL 2026 match between Mumbai Indians and Punjab team. I don't know the actual name of Punjab team. Previously, it was Kings 11 Punjab. I don't know whether it is same or not. And the Punjab team. Who won the IPL 2026 match between Mumbai Indians and the Punjab team? This is the query I have. Okay, I'll ask this query to the DuckDuckGo. Yes, DuckDuckGo has given Punjab Kings chase it down 196 with ease, and these people has done well. And okay, I'll just convert this to the markdown. Thereby, it would be quite readable, and I can easily find out the result. Markdown of response. Yes. 7 wickets saw Shreyas Iyer, 20. Punjab Kings continued their unbeaten streak and they have sealed a massive 7-wicket win over the Mumbai Indians. Yes. Now, this DuckDuckGo search can answer the very recent queries. Now, if a tool can answer the very recent queries, now what I will do is, now my LLM cannot answer this. In order to make my LLM answer these queries, what I will do is, I will add this tool to my LLM. I'll write here. Okay, this tool can answer very recent queries. This tool, DuckDuckGo, is answering very recent queries. Very recent queries. But we have seen that our LLMs cannot answer this. Cannot answer this. Now what I'll do is to make LLMs answer this. To make LLMs answer this. Okay. I'll add this tool to the I will add this tool to the I will add this tool to the LLM. And this way of adding this tool to the LLM and LLM go on interacting with the tool and getting the answer is called as agentic behavior, and it is called as agent. Agentic behavior, and it is called as agent. Now I'll show you how to add this tool to the LLM and how to create a basic agent to answer the very basic agent which can answer the very recent questions by interacting with the tool. Okay, I'll show you. Again, you'll find the syntax in the LangChain website. I'll go to the LangChain website. Go to the LangChain main page. In the LangChain main page, at the left side, you find these agents. Just click on the agents. Just click on the agents. Once you click on the agents, you will find a function named as create agent. Create agent. Then this is the syntax. Create agent. Copy the syntax. Copy the syntax. This is the syntax. From langchain.agents, create agent, import this. After importing this, then create an agent. Create agent, and what is my model name? Here I want to use a model. I want to use my Gemini model. Gemini model, then it is Google underscore Gemini. Google underscore, or I can say, instead I will go with something like this. My model name, model is equal to, I want to use model Gemini, Gemini 2.5 flash light. This is the model I want to use, comma. To this model, I want to add a tool. I want to add a tool, and the tool I want to add is what is the tool name here? Search is equal to DuckDuckGo search.run. Okay, I have already created an object of this tool, that is search. This is the tool I want to add. Search tool. And this is my agent. Create an agent. Okay. It is not tool. The syntax is tools. Search. Model is equal to 2. Okay. No model named LangChain underscore. Okay, that is fine. Now what I will do is I'll go for another way of providing the same. That is Google underscore Gemini provider name followed by the Gemini 2.5 flash light. Yes, an agent is created. A basic agent is created. Now we'll see the behavior of this agent. Whenever you ask a query, okay, first model will try to answer this. Model will try to answer this. If model is unable to answer, then without our intervention or without any human intervention, model asks this query to the tool. Without human intervention. Without human intervention, this model will ask the question to the tool and get the response from the tool. Once model get the response from the tool, model verify the response. model verify the response. If this response is satisfactory, then directly it will send the response to the user. If it is not satisfactory, then again it will ask the query to the tool and get the response, verify the response. In this way, a loop happens between the tool and the model such that model should get the required answer to the query. Okay, this behavior is called as agentic behavior. Without any human intervention, model is calling the tool and getting response from the tool and verifying the response given by the tool. And if it is happy, if model is happy or model is okay with the response with respect to the user query, then it don't ask the tool. Otherwise, it go on asking the tool and get the response from the tool. Okay, this way of asking the query to the tool without any human intervention and verifying the response and it go on interacting with the tool and getting the better response. This is called as agentic behavior, and this is called as a simple agent. A simple agent. Okay. Now, we will see whether it is possible or not. Anyway, I have explained, but I need to show you whether it is possible or not. Okay, I'll do it. Now I need to ask a question to my model. Previously, we have seen that model is unable to answer the question, who won the yesterday match? Now I'll ask the same question. Response is equal to, what is the name of this agent? Agent. In order to call the agent, what is the method used in the LangChain? It is invoke. And in the invoke, you need to provide a dictionary with key as messages. And you need to, because your human is asking the query, you should provide it's a human message. Human message of content is equal to. Okay, what is our query? Our query is who won the match? Who won this IPL 2026 match between Mumbai Indians and the Punjab team? This is our question. Just post your question here. Then you'll get the response. We'll see whether we'll get the response or not. Yes, we got some response. We will check once. Okay, I can only access information up to early 2026. Okay, it failed to interact with the tool. Now we'll run it again. Agent and the response. Gemini 2.5 flashlight. Yeah, human message. Who won the match? Agent.invoke. Tool is added. Okay. Now what we'll do is, because model don't have enough information about the tool, okay, it is unable to access the tool. Now what I will do is, I'll create a small tool function and provide enough information to the model in this way. From LangChain.tools import tool. Now I'll write a small function which provides information to the model that this is the search tool which is used to get the responses, and which is used to interact and get the responses. For that, I'll write a search, web search, and query. Now I'll write a doc string, and model will go through, our agent will go through this doc string, thereby agent can understand. This is a search tool. This is a search tool which is used to get responses by searching the web. Okay. Now I'll write this function here and return search dot invoke of query. Okay. This is one thing which is missing. Once I write this statement, then model will read this statement, and whenever it is needed, model uses it. Now, what is the name of this tool? Web search. Now I'll provide this web search here. Yes, an agent is created. Oh, okay. There is a problem with the schema. In order to get rid of the problem with the schema, what I will do is I'll go with the grok. Grok. And in the grok, we have been using one model named as OpenAI. Okay, we'll go back to that model once. Okay. Yes, an agent is created. And yes, now you got the response. Okay, in order to read the response well, what I will do is I'll just print the response in the better way. For message in response of, what is the dictionary key? Messages. Messages. Then use the message dot pretty print. Pretty print. Okay, it is not message. Now see this. Yes. What is the human message? Who won the IPL match between Mumbai Indians and Punjab team? Because LLM is unable to answer this, then it will call the tool call. And from the tool call, at the end, it gives an answer that Mumbai Indians won the match. Okay. This is how you can interact with the, and you can create this agent, and you can interact, and your LLM can interact with the tool and get the responses. Okay. And this is about the today's session. In the next section, we'll go on create the tools and we'll build the tool. And we'll build this resume analyzer tool. This is about the today's session. I think hope you enjoyed the session and hope it is resourceful. Okay. And now I'll share the attendance link.